to bring that background into clear focus and then into the foreground. So that which was in the background is now in the foreground. And that unity, which is what yoga means, it means union, the coming together into oneness. That unity is apparent, so that's powerful. That's the power. And when I was talking earlier about my childhood and all those interests, that was the power that I sensed and craved to some extent and felt disconnected from. And that's lonely. That's the loneliness of people, is that disconnection from that essential I. So that's the power.
You talk about quite a lot in your book about the question, who am I? So who are you?
I would say that honestly addressing the question, who am I, is the most profound thing anyone can do in life. Who am I? All these attributes, which are recognizable as me, the body, the mind, the thoughts, the conversation, the memories, the ideas, the projects, the working, are faculties. Faculties operating in the world, hopefully operating well and creatively and adding value in this place. But I am absolutely not confined by or described by or limited by those things. They are faculties, playing. Behind them is an essential being, beingness, the radiance of intelligence. Within that, all these faculties are operating. In the literature, you'll come across words like consciousness, awareness, consciousness. This is conscious TV.
It is indeed, yeah.
Consciousness. So conscious, but all of these words have associations because of our education, and sometimes they're not necessarily the most helpful words. But I am consciousness. I am the radiance of conscious intelligence, which knows all these things, but which is not limited by these things.
So how does the personality fit into this? Your personality as Derek?
Yeah. There is a personality. It's one of the faculties.
Okay.
You can recognize me as Derek. Derek is sitting here, and Derek has characteristics, a certain way of presenting, a certain way of talking, memories, habits, moods. That we call character or personality. Now that's real. That's real in the world. Here's Iain, who has a personality.
Absolutely.
So our personalities are faculties in the world, taking place within this radiant intelligence, which I choose to call spirit, because I find it's a helpful word for people, consciousness. Everything appearing within consciousness.
So I know you have quite a demanding job in the world, quite a responsible position. When you're in your, let's say, work mode, that's probably not the best term, but you know what I mean by that, how is it for you? Are you still being consciousness? Are you coming from that place, or are you sometimes caught up in the, maybe drama of the workplace?
Yeah. Nobody can avoid being caught up in dramas. It's not possible. But I'm glad you've asked me that, because I would like to say something about the importance of integration. Because for a long time, the approach for deep spiritual discovery was renunciation. So in the past, people would have renounced the world, retreated, and studied their inner self in protected circumstances. That still happens these days. But we must have a new model. We must have a model for the modern age which offers another way, and that's integration. So you cannot avoid, or do not need to avoid, the play of the world. The play of the world is happening and running. I work, I have a family, I operate in the world through these faculties quite nicely. But all of it's taking place by itself. All of it is spontaneous. Now my role, my function, my destiny is to be a working man. So that's my destiny. So I'm outliving that. If my destiny was to be something else, then that would be happening too. So I'm outliving my destiny in this theatre of life. Now, I like to call it theatre of life because theatre is something we all love. Most people love the theatre. But the theatre can be dark, it can be terrifying, can be boring, can be of poor quality, can also be stimulating, vigorous, engaging. The theatre can be anything. Life's like that too. The theatre of life is like that. I think, that human beings would be better suited to a simple life, I think. That's my instinct. I think we're more suited as a species to simplicity. But here we are in this extraordinary, complex theatre. So, to shun it and deny it and retreat to the forest is the culture of the past. We have to be in it. We have to engage. And that's everything that we're doing in the community that I lead is about that innovative discovery, the authenticity of deep spiritual realization within the context of ordinary life, working life, family life, economy, environment, and everything else. So the only way to do that is through acquiring what I term freedom of mind.
So how do you actually work with people in your community that you lead?
Well, we're quite discreet, we're quite humble. I have come to a point in the maturity of my spiritual seeking of being completely connected with the teachings of Sri Ramana Maharshi. So I lead a community of people who are choosing to pursue that study, that practice, and that sadhana. The word in yoga is sadhana. It means practice of what Ramana Maharshi taught, which is called Atma Vichara. So Atma Vichara, its context, its philosophy, and its experiential discovery is what I teach, what the community of people that I lead also follow, as well as living ordinary lives in the world and going to work and moving about and shopping and so forth.
So how does that practically impact someone's life? And as you say, they're living an ordinary life, they're doing their work, they're shopping. How does it affect people?
Because it's the route to self-discovery. The absolute essence of Ramana Maharshi's teaching is, who am I? Who am I? So absolutely encountering and tackling that question seriously and deeply, and having guidance to know how you do that is what we do in the small community that I lead. And that is the bedrock, the foundation to life.
So people are just trying to get a feel for this. So people are kind of somewhere holding that question when they remember, who am I? And they're getting in situations which may be some tension with a boss, or they're in a traffic jam late for a meeting. I'm just looking at practically how your teaching influences and helps people. Is it you're sitting in the car thinking, right, rather than getting pissed off, right, who am I? I'm saying that because it happened to me yesterday. I was in a long traffic jam and I do my best not to get too frustrated. So what's your advice when I'm stuck in a traffic jam?
A response to that